Hey everybody, it's Bridget Battles and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Bridget. Listen, today is extra special. Extra special. So today we did the pop-up Coffee with Bridget at noon today with Monique Rodriguez, who is the CEO of Maya Organics. So if you did not watch that episode, please make sure you watch that episode. And then tonight, I'm super excited to share with you. I have such an amazing treat for you tonight. Tonight's guest is one that you will remember. She definitely has a voice. She has tactics and strategies, and she has so much information that I am excited to share with you, all of you tonight. So I just can't help but, be excited about her coming on tonight. So for those of you who are new to watching Coffee with Bridget, I am Bridget Battles, author of Beauty in Her Battle and Style Strategist. So tonight, we're going to have great conversation. We're going to leave you with some just do it's, especially if you are a small business owner, you have a personal brand, you want to grow your corporate career. You just want to know how to get in front of the right person and the person who you need to meet in order to get decisions, in order to get information, and in order to grow. So without further ado, help me welcome tonight Ashley Owens, CEO of Ashley Assist.
I'm sorry, do you see the earrings that I'm fashioning? Do you see these earrings that I'm fashioning? I don't know where I got them or anything. I don't know what happened here.
I'm enjoying these earrings, Ashley.
Where do you think I got them?
Ashley, you draped in the BB experience tonight, Ashley.
I'm drinking all of the Kool-Aid, whatever it is. I think you're a cult. You're the cult leader, and I am definitely a follower in this process.
Actually, I'm so happy to have you here tonight.
I love you so much, Bridget. You're my favorite person in the entire world. Thank you so much for having me. This is lovely. I wish I had as many shoes as you did, because all I have is like a half finished wall and like lights are halfway on. Kind of like my brain is like half finished. So that's what that is.
Keep working with me, and you're definitely going to have them. So Ashley, you have your coffee?
Yes.
Yes.
My coffee?
Yes. So Ashley, so for all of my community, they've heard me talk about you a lot. And so I call my community CEOs because I believe you are the chief executive officer of you. You're the chief executive officer of your own brand, and you have the power to write your own narrative. You have the power to write your own story. So Ashley, can you tell my CEOs, my community, who you are and a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am Ashley Owens. I am a networking concierge. What I do is I train sales professionals, sales teams, as well as business development managers and business professionals how to effectively network. Anytime you're in a position where you have to either build business, grow, whatever it may be, or you have your own business, there is a group of champions that you need to build in order to strengthen the kind of business that you have. So my job is to train these individuals how to network effectively. And since everything right now is virtual, my job is to go in and say, here are the tactical tips and practical takeaways in strengthening and building a network using these tools and resources all digitally.
So Ashley, now that we're in the pandemic, we can no longer meet people in person and meet them at their office. So Ashley, talk to us about how you can network virtually.
There's a lot of different strategies, but the biggest thing is that you have to remember that everybody's so thirsty for human-to-human interaction right now. So especially if you're in a sales position or you're running your own business but have to produce, some kind of revenue, there's no gatekeeper now. So it's not like you're giving people a cold call and say, hey, I want to sell you my widgets. It's more of, everyone is currently in this similar situation where they're feeling and trying to get to the next step during this COVID period. Virtually network, there's a lot that goes into it. It goes into having a personal brand. What do people say when you're not in the room? So how do you present yourself? How are you the subject matter expert in your field? Are you pushing out articles that are educational and helpful for people who don't know your industry very well? Are you celebrating the people through LinkedIn, let's say either by sharing or liking their posts and saying something thoughtful on different topics that are relevant to your industry? Different networking activities are different for everybody because networking is a personal activity, not a one-size-fits-all. So it's important to recognize that the activity that you're doing has to substantiate the kind of business that you're running and the kind of people that you're looking to meet. So say if you were to go out there, Bridgett, and just recently you posted something with me, some of the outfits that you and I have put together. You've really put together, not just wore them. And the goal is that my job as your client is to celebrate, because this is a networking activity, is to celebrate and also put my 2 cents on that post as well and to share it. My other goal is anybody that's like me, that's stressed out, that's currently trying to figure out how to make one less decision. I'm also advocating for you when you're not in the room. So there are different ways to network virtually, but the main component is that there's a human-to-human interaction. And what you're doing is you're trying to celebrate the network that you have the pleasure and the privilege to be able to obtain while we were out of this pandemic experience, but to really nurture them online by advocating for something that they're doing, by sharing something that they like, by submitting a resource to them. There are a lot of different ways to do it. It just depends on where you start in your networking process.
So Ashley, I like something that you said. You said
Yeah.
Celebrating the network, which I've never heard it put that way. And I think that's really good.
Sure.
So in celebrating the network, sometimes you run into people who you are continually having conversations with.
Yeah.
And so with celebrating the network, I'm just, in my mind, I'm just thinking, I watched the video with you the other day where you did a video about being on the phone with the takers.
Yeah.
When you're celebrating the network, I can imagine you're on the phone with people all the time. And so for those of you who don't know what the taker is, Ashley, can you tell everybody what the taker is and talk a little bit about that?
Sure. In the networking world where you're trying to build business relationships, there's usually somebody who's not necessarily really coiffed in the networking activity, which means that what they do is you have the giver and then you have the taker. The giver is somebody who will go into a conversation and they will try to give as many resources, as many introductions as absolutely possible. And that allows you to build networking equity with that person and provide value. At the end of the day, as a networker, you are giving value, number one. A taker is somebody who goes into a conversation wanting something from that person. So that taker is somebody who is really kind of more, not necessarily forward thinking, but very, linear in the way that they are trying to build up their network and really take without giving value first. So when you're on a phone call with somebody, especially now because we're all doing phone calls, it's really important to recognize that if you can sense somebody is not going to give you the same respect that you're giving them, then it's kind of time to pull back and not promise the world to them. In the beginning, when I started this business, I was so desperate to get people to like me and to value the things that I was doing that no matter who I spoke with, I would give introductions to, even though they already came across as not necessarily a giver as well. I've since then understood, and I talk to 8 to 10 people a day. I always take introduction phone calls with every person that connects with me on LinkedIn, no matter who they are.
Wait, stop right there. So you take 8 to 10 phone calls every day with people who you connect with on LinkedIn.
Correct. There is a LinkedIn strategy. If someone reaches out and connects with me on LinkedIn without a message, which is fine, there's a reason why they're connecting, right? So in your own LinkedIn strategy, what you kind of really want to do is see that as an opening, right? They are opting in to look at your stuff or to connect with you on some kind of level. Whether they were connected with somebody else and it was suggested, but they're opting in, they're taking the first step, right? So open the door. You never know who that person knows. You never know if they're looking for a resource. You never know if they thought about reaching out to you but haven't yet because they had to find your email but wanted to connect with you anyway to keep abreast of what's been going on. You have no idea. So my job, and not even my job because I've created this position so it can be whatever I want, but I've made it very, very, very poignant in the beginning of this that I would take every single phone call, every single meeting, and provide as much value as I could to as many people as I could. And recognized the value that just because they won't work with me, 95% of the time they won't be able to work with me, which is fine. But I've given them a good resource or a good introduction to somebody else that could potentially help them. And when I'm not there, and when someone brings up my name, they're gonna say, oh, she was great. She helped me with this X, Y, and Z. Because 6 months later, it always comes back around where someone says, Ash, there's a speaking engagement. Thank you so much, for helping me out last week and sharing all my stuff. I threw your name into the ring. Would you be willing to do this? So over time, the amount of activity, the amount of quantity and quality, that's both very, very, very important things. Over the amount of time, I start getting these opportunities from people that I haven't spoken to in a month or two, whom I've completely forgot about. And
completely forgot about them.
Completely. Because again, I don't know math. 8 times 5 is 32, right? 8 times
5 is 40.
40, I don't know. This is where I network and go, I don't do math. I talk to people. So I talk to, between 30 and 40 people a week. And whether that is scalable, it's not, but it's the foundation that I have that I will continue to have no matter what, because I know at one point there was somebody that I probably needed help from that I would have loved advice in the beginning of anything that was scary. So I get calls a lot from women entrepreneurs who are like, I know you got started a couple of years ago. Would you be willing to talk to me? Girl, let's get some wine. Let's make this work. Like, let me save you 6 months than, having you wait 2 years.
Hey, Tanya, we got some people joining us. Hey, Tanya. Ashley, tell Tanya hi.
Hi, Tanya. Wait,
and Kathleen Kim Moore.
Who's it? What? Who? Hi.
Tell everybody hi. We got
hi, guys. Listen, what do you want to know? What do you want to know?
People love you. They love you. They love you.
They love me? Why, guys? Tell me more. I'd like to know more, please. I need attention.
So listen, let's talk about the taker. So when you're on the phone with the taker, how do you get off the phone with somebody who's a taker?
I literally just did a video on this and forgot everything that I said. But here's the real thing that you can do with a taker. At the end of the moral again, when we kind of, I will send the video out to everybody, but the moral of the story is that when somebody's a taker, you got to think of them as somebody who is not necessarily educated on the proper protocol of how to network. And when somebody is a taker, they're going in thinking that this is what the conversation should be about. Otherwise, why would she or he want to talk to me unless they had something for me? That's just not being educated, again, on the proper process of networking effectively. And they haven't had the privilege or the knowledge of being able to do it properly. It's not your job to teach them. However, it might be nice for you to educate them on, or at least guide them with the right questions, so that way they give them the chance to be able to give in some way. So for example, if you and I are going to have a conversation and you're saying, well, and I'm saying to you like, oh, I have all these people I'll be having to make an introduction to, and the conversation stops, and they don't necessarily ask like, hey, is there anything that I can help you with? What you can lead them into saying is, well, you know what? Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to giving you these intros. What would be really great is if there's anybody in your industry or anybody that there's anybody in your industry, anybody that that would benefit from my services, here are the top 4 people that industries I'm looking to meet. I would love, in your bandwidth, I would love an introduction to these 3 people. So the way that you do it is you do the ask without feeling like you have to wait for them to ask for it. It allows them to be like, oh, shit. Oh, excuse me. Oh, damn. Oh, too many curses. I'm sorry. I forget where I am. We love how I'm just doing things. I don't know who's watching. I'm sorry. Like, oh no, what am I, of course, because sometimes people get so wrapped up. My personality and your personality are very contagious, right? People feel like they can tell us everything, which is fine, and I have no problem with that. But they also feel very comfortable also taking advantage. So in that space, we have to be the better person and really navigate through that conversation and say, like, okay, I'm glad I was able to help you. Here's the best way you can help me. And 85%, it's actually, like 90% of the time, people will be like, oh my gosh, you've given me so much. I'd love to help you. And they will say, well, how can I help you? And then you better have the answer to that, right? But sometimes people don't. And if there's any pushback or any like lag on like, oh, maybe if you can just go through my LinkedIn connections and take, first of all, you did not take the time to think how you can help me or what I can do for you, nor what you can do for me. You didn't think. You just decided to let me do the work on your network. And if you don't know people off the top of your head, not necessarily saying like specifically, or at least an idea, then you really don't know your network as much as you think you do. And so that also shows the level of comfortability they have with their own people who they're trying to network with. So just navigate through that conversation and recognize who's a taker. Always be a giver first. Always, 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 always. Because at the end of the day, your reputation is the only thing that you have. And even if the conversation ends badly, it can, not badly, but like a little bad taste in your mouth, you know that your brand and your personality and your CEO-ness has now, showcased through that conversation, and you know you did a good job.
Somebody put this in the comments. Ashley said, always be a giver. Always be a giver. So Ashley, yeah, I want to talk about a couple of things. So first off, for those that are watching, so I was a fan of Ashley's first. Before, what's so crazy, before we actually met, all right, so I was a fan of her.
Sorry. Sorry. I have stuff to add. Go ahead.
You're fine. So I watched Ashley's show. Ashley has 2 digital talk shows. So I watched Ashley's show because with her networking, and she would always give out these tactical tips and strategies and her personality, and I loved it. So I met someone else at the Urban League of Philadelphia for the Business Opportunity Lunch. It was Kelly Mearbot.
Oh,
so that's how I met Kelly. So Kelly saw me speak on stage. And so me and Kelly set up, a coffee, afterwards. And when me and Kelly met, Kelly said, I have somebody I want you to meet. And I was like, who? She said, you ever heard of Ashley Assist? And I was like, have I ever heard of Ashley Assist? I watch her shows faithfully. She said, I would love to make an introduction for you and Ashley. I was like, yes, I really want to meet Ashley. So when Kelly did the introduction and then you scheduled a call with me, because now I'm thinking about the strategy that you just gave. And Kelly, we got the call scheduled and I talked to you on the phone and I was like, the first thing I said was, Ashley, I'm such a big fan of yours.
I cried. Right away. I was like, oh, I got so excited. I told everyone. I'm like, and there is this really lovely woman she's so pretty. And then she just told me so many nice things the first 10 minutes and I didn't know what to do. And my little brain exploded. I called my mother. I called my sister. I called my best friend. I'm like, and she wrote a book. Like, she's accomplished. Like,
Tanya, do you see Ashley right here, Tanya? Because Tanya, I told Tanya you was gonna be on tonight. Tanya said, I gotta watch my girlfriend tonight. Okay, good about you.
Tanya, I can't see any of the messages.
They'll start coming up on the side in a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so I got a chance to. You invited me to come on your show.
Yes, on Connected Success and
RBN TV. Yes. Yeah. And so I had an amazing time on your show, and I'm super happy that I had the opportunity to be on your show. But what I like most, Ashley, after us talking, me really learning more about why you started, the networking concierge business, because like I never heard of that before to meeting you and then seeing all the things that you were doing. So can you tell my CEOs why you started the networking concierge, what got you to that point, and then talk a little bit about your digital talk shows. And y'all, if you have questions for Ashley, listen, she's ours now for the next few days. Send me your questions. All right.
So why I started. Okay. So sorry, I've got apparently bugs in my eyeballs.
Stop right there. Take your glasses off for a second, Ashley.
Yeah.
So y'all look at Ashley. So Ashley is also a client of mine, y'all. Yeah. This is the first time I'm ever doing a coffee with Bridgett with a client. So Ashley, you're my inaugural. This is I've never done with a client. But look, y'all look, Ashley looks like 2 different people with her glasses on. She's Ashley Assist. Now with her glasses on. When she takes her glasses off, she looks like a totally different person. She's off the clock. Okay, tell us about it, Ashley.
So just by the way, I've actually gone into full-blown networking events with my glasses off. Friends walking right by me. And I'm like, this is my event. What are you, hello? Like, what? You just, so if I ever want to I'm Batman. Like, if I ever just want to chill, I just take the glasses off because it is a branding thing. These are purely cosmetic. As you can see, there's a little bit of a tint because
Wait a minute, those are purely cosmetic. You don't need them to see.
No.
I thought you needed them to see.
I started wearing glasses when I worked at eBay.
I give
I know. I'm such a boob. But I worked at eBay because I wasn't being taken seriously. So I got glasses, and then immediately people started asking me my opinion on stuff. I'm not even kidding, and that worked. So okay. So I started Ashley Assist because I got pissed off enough to do something about it. Okay. So I'll give you the high level version because I know we're running out of time, but I had 18 jobs after graduation, which means all due to mergers and acquisitions and budget. God bless you.
Thank you. You had 18 jobs. Somebody put that 18 jobs. My guest last week had 8 jobs. It must be something about the number 8.
I just don't understand it. It's in the water. I don't know. Okay. 18 jobs after graduation, never got fired. It was all mergers and acquisitions and budget cuts. But I started my career working as a personal assistant to 2 celebrities in New York. So right off the bat, I learned a lot about boundaries. I learned a lot about time management. I learned a lot about just really how to work my tail off and do as much as I possibly could. By the time I got to the end of my last position, I was selling custom software. And I woke up one morning and I said, okay, I've worked in entertainment the beginning of my career. What the hell am I doing working and selling custom software? And I felt like I had worked through every single holiday. I had worked through every single sick day, and it still didn't matter. So I felt mad that I had done this over and over and over and over again. And I was doing, I worked at companies like eBay Enterprise. I worked at companies like Navport. I used to work in recruiting. Like, I did all of these positions. And no matter how hard I worked, no matter how good my performance reviews were, there were things that were out of my control that just made it impossible for me to stay. So my last position, I was working custom software. I woke up, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? So I ended up quitting that job, which is the first job I quit. Irish Catholic, sits in your stomach, right? You don't quit things until you've got something else. But that was the first time I was like, I need to start over, figure out what I actually enjoy doing, because everything was a fire drill, right? So I went to a networking event. I left on that Friday, went to a networking event on that Monday, and it was a tailgate at a Phillies game. And I walked around and I was like, this is a buddy of mine that's running it. Let me go. So I went and I started talking to people, and I took a step back and said, what does everybody here have in common? Because I don't want to change my network again, or like change like a whole industry again and learn something new again. And this is like 10 years. I'm like, I can only learn so much. Like, what lane am I going to stay in? So I went to this networking event. I walked around to every person. And I said, what sucks for you about networking? Because that's all they had in common there. Besides being salespeople or being business owner, whatever. What sucks for you about networking? Oh, I hate the follow-up. Okay, go to the next person. What about the follow-up is awful? And I just went to every single person there, instead of asking them, or telling them that I didn't have a job. I just asked them, I'm doing some research. I want to learn more about what you hate about networking tactically. And so a lot of times it's like setting up the meetings, and I can do complex calendar scheduling in my sleep. So like these were things that I saw like, oh, I can fix that. Oh, I can fix that. Or I can do this. I went over to the buffet, because obviously I'm a fat kid and I like to eat. And I was over there, and a gentleman overheard me talking to somebody else and said, hey, would you ever network for somebody or with somebody at a book signing? I said, sure. I think that can work, because he was going to be signing books, and he just needed people to walk around and talk about him to other people, so that way he can at least get some good connections and strategic partners. So okay, no problem. So 2 weeks. He's like, give me a call back in 2 weeks. Okay. So in 2 weeks, I had a website, I had headshots, I had business cards, I had liability insurance.
You did all of it yourself?
All myself. I had a logo. 2 weeks. Okay. I lived off of coffee, and I called in every single favor that I've been holding on for 10 years. And I said, I need a master services agreement, a statement of work. I need to be looking legitimate in 2 weeks. And so I looked, it was duct taped together, but it was, something like templates, everything. So I reached back out to the guy, and he says, okay, it's tomorrow. It's in State College. Now, for those of you who don't know where State College is, that's 4 hours away from where I live in Philadelphia. So I drove 4 hours, did an event for 2 hours, did exactly what he needed me to do, came back 4 hours later. He paid for, I think the hourly rate was like $7, like after taxes, right? It was nothing. I had no idea what I was charging at the time. He paid for gas and everything, never complained once. I gave him like everything he needed. And then unprompted, he sent me a beautiful testimonial that is still on my website to this day. And since then, that was 3 years ago, I have had over 50 clients. I've gone to 4 different conferences. I've spoken at the Pennsylvania Women's Conference. I have been on the Mel Robbins Show. I have been included in 2 books as a thank you to helping them start their business. And I have equity in 2 different companies. So my point is that I had the opportunity to at least figure out that what I was doing normally was of value. And for so long, I had no idea what that was because I was bouncing so much from different positions. So my job now, because before during the pandemic, I was going to events with clients as an extension of them to be able to network on their behalf while they were there. And then I was going to conferences to do the pre, the during, and the post. So that way, in teaching these developers who worked in tech how to work a booth because these jabronis didn't know what the hell they were doing. And there's like the show pony being like, let's hang out and like give your card. And like, I'm, just kind of being a chicken with the head cut off, but then training them how to do that. So over the past 3 years, I've had more opportunity than I've had in the past 18. Because for the first time, I found that instead of trying to overcome every single weakness just to survive to whatever position that I was able to get at the time, I now triple down on all of the strengths that I had and then put it into a business. And now I'm finally using my film degree, which I had in the past. I know how to edit, I know how to do all these things. I'm finally using that. And I used to be an actor. So between that and what I'm doing now, I'm finally scratching the itch, but also educating in a way that's helpful and entertaining, but also very, very informative because I'm still that person that's trying to give value as much as possible.
Wow, Ashley. Hey, Tressa. Hey, Cammie Lehman. Cammie Lehman is on.
Hey, hi, Cammie. Sorry, I'm very excited. So, can I just tell a quick story about Cammie?
Huh?
Can I just tell a quick story about Cammie?
Yeah,
Cammie runs one of the polka dot powerhouses, which is an all-women's group, which was one of the first groups that I joined when I was working at my other position 3 years ago. I walked into a sea of pink and was very confused. I had no idea what that was about. I didn't trust women at the time because every bad manager I ever had was a woman. I was very, very insecure trying to figure out my next step. And then Cammie comes bouncing around in, and she was the nicest, kindest, most rah-rah, shishkumba kind of woman that was thoughtful and sweet and kind and gave you that oomph that you needed, that stuff that you needed to feel good about yourself. And it was never fake. She has since got this great podcast that I just keep sending people to, like, talk to Cammie. Don't talk to me, talk to Cammie. And she's amazing and wonderful, and I'm such a fan of hers, and she's doing such amazing things. So, Cammie, if you're watching, I love your face very much, and I'm so, so, so happy that I get to be in your circle.
She just said, hey, ladies. And so I was on Cammie's podcast. I'm not sure when it's going to air, but I did Cammie's podcast also. So, Cammie, so thanks for joining us. Hey, oh my God, see one of my other friends. Hey, LaQuanda, thanks for joining us. Hey, Tracy, my sister. Listen, so Ashley, let's talk about this. So now for those people who are watching us now, okay? Yes. So you have 2 digital talk shows where you give, tactical tips and strategies on how to network, how to connect people to success. So I want you to give some tips for networking, for people who are in their corporate career and they want to network so that they can move up. And then I want you to give some strategies for networking for people who are entrepreneurs.
Got it. So the people that are working right now, working up, it's a little not difficult, but it's a little different than what I would usually teach because they're not in an office environment anymore. So you can't go to the water cooler, you can't reach out to whatever. I think now is the time to go through your intranet directory and start doing 15-minute coffee calls with people that you're looking to get to learn more about their work responsibilities. Everybody, again, is thirsty for human-to-human interaction. Everyone's busy. However, having just hey, I would really love to take this time now that we're in this pandemic, we're all working from home, I really would love to learn more about your position in the company. I think what you do is extremely interesting. And if you give me 15 minutes of your time, I'd just like to learn more about you and learn more about your position. That allows you to start to get familiar with those higher ups, not necessarily to throw your name into the ring, but maybe ask advice on what they might be looking for in the future. For entrepreneurs, find a group of weirdos and hang on to them. There's going to be a bunch of people that are going to start listen, when I first started this, for those of you who haven't seen my videos, I like to curse a lot. I'm keeping it very in tight close.
That's right.
I couldn't do it. So I'm just keeping it here. But my personality is, I was so adamant about not being inauthentic to me because I was so used to being very compliant. All the positions I had were in, executive assistant positions, and I felt like my voice was never heard for the longest time. And so what was important for me moving forward was that if I'm going to be doing something like this, which I had no business starting a business, I had to be screaming who I was. Because for so long I had been quiet about everything of who I was. And if people weren't going to buy that or what I was providing, it gave them a way to feel comfortable with me that like networking is a people business. There's a lot of emotion that goes into it. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of insecurity. And if they can feel like they can shoot the breeze with me, it's a lot easier for me to coach them because they're a little less tight and it's more of, oh, this is what it's about. I can do this. And they feel comfortable chatting with me. So advice to give to entrepreneurs around networking is find your community of weirdos that you stick with that are better than you. Women out there, my ladies, if you hear a small child crying, it's my cat who wants second dinner. So I apologize if you hear him crying. It's so bad. But stupid cat. I love that thing. Anyway, what was important about the networking aspect is that you want to find women in your space or have different skill sets that you don't have and ask for their advice. Have a meeting every month, grab a bunch of the women that you know that are powerhouses in their industries and sit down and listen to them speak. The best advice I ever got was from a woman who, I would just watch better women. I just watched how they acted, I watched how they reacted, I watched how they spoke, and I watched how they connected with people. And I found that, and I emulated that because they were well respected. What I didn't do previously when I was working in these corporate positions was ever follow that. I was so separated from all of those kind of powerful women and inspiring women that I just never took the opportunity to do that. So if there's somebody like Bridgett that you can have on a call, if there's somebody like me, if there's ask. Because if they can give their 2 cents and provide leadership in an entrepreneurial space, especially in industries that you may not have, may have a likeness to, do that because you're going to educate yourself further.
That's true. And I can also speak to that as well. And that is especially you definitely as a small business owner, you want to always network. Because you want to always keep your business top of mind. And you want to always stay fresh and relevant because when you are meeting people, you're not always in the frame of mind where you want to sell something to them, but you want to cultivate relationships. So networking is so important as an entrepreneur. Networking
is the only way you grow. That's the only way you grow because nobody gives a damn about what you do. Nobody cares.
Exactly right.
Nobody cares.
Exactly right.
But if you can build these people that are advocating for you just as much as you're advocating for them, let me tell you, the world opens up, they do the job for you, and you're not struggling to find a business development manager or somebody to help, advocate for you. But you got to put the work in. And just to kind of give you an idea, from August to December of 2017, I had no service offerings. I was figuring out what the next step was. All I did for 4 months, because math is hard apparently, for 4 months is I went to every single networking event that would take me, and all I did was make introductions for days. I didn't have anything else to do except make introductions because the goal was to build a community that I could support. But I started from nothing. I just connected people, didn't have any idea how to connect people. And I did it for months. I haven't networked for myself, meaning like the stereotypical networking since that time because I take these introduction phone calls, I give, and then that gets returned a couple months later, a couple weeks. But if you do it in such an abundance, you're building this army of people that will back you up.
That's so true. So Ashley, after doing your show, I built a whole new network.
And diversify your network, for God's sake. Ooh, just diversify. Can you talk about what board you're on? Because it makes me so happy.
Yes. So one of the things that I shared when I was on Ashley's show, especially when it comes to networking, I network a lot in the Asian community. I'm on the board for the Asian Chamber of Commerce. I'm now joining the board for the Women's Resource Center. So I always try to go and network in spaces where there are people there that need to learn me and I need to learn them. And so that we grow together. I know what technical skills that they have, and they know what technical skills that I have, but it's the relationship building that's important. So, you know, it's so important to diversify your network. It's so important to show up and be present. And it's important to not just always be a taker. You want to be a giver. That is so important.
And I use this analogy a lot because a lot of I do get some pushback from some people saying, hey, you know, doesn't this person do what you do? I'm like, they do something similar, but they specialize in LinkedIn, right? I specialize in networking tactical activities, which includes LinkedIn, but I don't work with the headquarters like she does, right? So you partner with that person.
Yes.
And you do a webinar and you make it work because there's going to be skill sets that she has and that she's bringing her network and my network together, and it's all relevant information. We're all in the same sandbox. We're just building different castles.
Yes.
And so
we're all in the same sandbox.
Should I like trademark that? Should that be
we're all in a sandbox. We just building different castles. Okay. All right.
So I use that. Sorry. Yeah.
So no, you're fine, Ashley. So first of all, y'all, I have to tell y'all. So after I did Ashley's show, the funniest thing happened to me. So first, I was kind of a little nervous coming to your show because I was a fan of yours. You know, I still am a fan. And so, but after I did Ashley's show, it was raining that day. It was storming so bad that day. So I got ready to leave the studio in New Jersey, and Ashley said, "I'm gonna walk you out," and I'm thinking, why she gonna walk me out? I know how to get to my car. I know how to get out the door. You know, I've been to the studio before. And then she said, I'm gonna walk you out. And then when she walked me out, she said, I need to hire you. And in my mind, I'm thinking, she won't hire me, you know? Like, I know what I'm good at, you know, I know what I'm passionate about. But in my mind, I was like, I was a fan of hers, and now she wants to hire me. And so Ashley has hired me for like the past 2 months, y'all. And Ashley has been working with me as a client. So Ashley, let's talk a little bit about your experience the first time I came to your house, okay?
She comes, guys, okay. let me just preface this by saying, to somebody whose weight fluctuates over time so much, shopping for clothes is traumatic. Putting on the right clothes is traumatic.
Ashley, it's traumatic.
It's just traumatic, right? And it's completely self-deprecating. Like it is an awful experience ever since I was a kid. And so having somebody come in, first of all, when you're an entrepreneur, you make 1,000 decisions a day. It's one less decision you have to make. And I'm on camera every week. And I am so involved in so many things that I forget that like my appearance isn't necessarily something that it wasn't necessarily something that I thought that I need to put, I put effort in, but like my version of the effort, right? And so with that being said, I recently got divorced. So I was trying to find out who I was again. And Bridgett comes in the show and she just blows me away because I'm looking at her and I'm like, she's amping me up on the show, by the way. Like she's just hype girling the crap out of me while I'm there. And I've got like wet hair and like maybe a flower. Like I don't know what was going on. And she comes and I walk her out and she comes to my home. I'm like, I just need you to come and just fix whatever's happening. She comes to my home and she's just yelling affirmations at me. She goes to all of these different studios. I think I had an appointment or something. And I was like, would you mind like helping me dress for this? She goes, got you covered. So 4 days later, she comes over to my house. She goes to all of these different boutiques that she has connections with. And she reminds me, she's like, this is a big deal. And so I'm like, okay. And so making me feel very, very like, I'm like really excited about this. She comes in, we have fashion show. She's just like, we try different stuff on and nothing is black. Like I wear a lot of black, white, and red, and I did that for my branding because it was cheaper to print. I'm on TV every week. I don't have that many clothes. Like there's only so many things I can do. So she was very adamant about like, we don't want to get you black, we don't want to get you white. If you do that, you're gonna pop it with color. And her personality allowed me to come out of my shell because my personality on camera is very different than what you see in my closet. and like what is showcased out there. So Bridgett was able to come in and literally make the decisions for me. And within 48 hours of trying these clothes on and sort of posting them on social media and Instagram and things like that, I have gotten more followers because of, I guess, maybe the confidence that I exuded, because I felt good in my own skin for the first time in 10 years. And it allowed me to be and to have fun and to show, like, first of all, this thing.
Turn your ear around so the people can see your earrings.
You guys, hold on. We're just gonna. Do you see this earring? That's a pimple. Don't look at that. Hold on. That's a pimple. But do you see this earring? Like, these are things that I would have wished to purchase, but didn't have the wherewithal to be able to do it. So now I don't. So the experience was extraordinary. She picked out my clothes. She put things, you know, around. All she needed to do was coach me in addition to purchasing some of these clothes. So I gave her a budget, did an incredible job with what she brought me, and now she gave me permission, folks, to be able to do what I needed to do to feel and to look better. Now, when my dumbass goes to Burlington Coat Factory because of going at a commission, I take pictures of things and I'm like, can I buy this? Am I allowed to? Like, is this, I have to get approval. And I don't leave my house without texting Bridgett and be like, is this okay? And let me tell you guys, she knows my closet. Do this, do this, do this, you'll be great. And it is the best service. It feels like you've got somebody in your corner who's always gonna help you. And it's one less decision you have to make. And I have never felt better in my own skin. So
I tell you though, Ashley, so since working with you, like when I first met you, you know, after you started wearing the different clothes, I saw your confidence level change. I saw the traction on your social media, and I actually saw you elevate your brand to the next level because I already knew you had the skill set. You just needed that boost, that push to get you to the next place. And like, I've seen the extraordinary things that you're doing. So I'm super happy, you know, of the outcome, and I'm super happy about the confidence. And one of the things that I so appreciate is that you were not only easy to work with, but the clothes don't make you, you make the clothes. And that was important for me with working with you because you have such a big personality on camera.
Thank you.
So I didn't want clothes to be, you know, competing with your personality.
Right.
So I love that about you.
Thank you. And I felt like, you know, when you guys all end up working with her, because you will and you should, there was a level of permission of being, she takes what you're hoping, she'll make you uncomfortable. Because
and please let everybody know that I don't say yes to everything that you want.
No, you do not. You absolutely don't. You say yes or no, and it is the best. And you trust her. I don't trust people. I talk to my people all day. I don't trust them. Bridgett is somebody that I trust immensely because she sees me. And it is extremely important, especially when you are as self-conscious as I can be. You have imposter syndrome, you have these, you know, confidence issues. So someone to see you and say, I got you, here are your options, let's try them. It takes away the worry of like, how are people gonna see me? How are we gonna do whatever? And then the affirmations afterwards of like me leveling up. I cannot tell you, I went to a networking event the other day, and it was like, I see all the stuff you're posting on Instagram. You looking good, girl. And I lost it because I've never felt.
You didn't tell me that. The people said that you went to the networking.
My shirt on 2 different networking groups were like, somebody came dressed up. It was the floofy poof thing.
Oh, the denim shirt.
The denim shirt. And apparently that was a thing that people talked about for 2 different, you know, networking groups. It's insane. It was insane. And it was something I didn't know that I needed. And now I am feeling excited about doing Zoom calls. I feel excited about going out and grabbing a cup of coffee when we're allowed to. I feel excited about doing the show every week. Like, All of the outfits that you see that I do on the show are all Bridgett. I do not leave the house without her permission. So it allows me to feel confident in my own skin. And now I'm getting more comfortable looking at things outside of my comfort zone, which is the shirt that I bought today that you approved. So it allows me to be more confident in my own skin, which then, to your point, allows me to ask for the money that I deserve. Allows me to have those kinds of conversations, not just looking at like what you look like out front, but Bridgett will remind you who the hell that you are.
Right, and that's important. That's important as a brand. That's important as a brand, especially if you're demanding. If you want to demand, six-figure money, you have to show up looking the part.
Yep.
People will oftentimes, not work with some people because they can't get past the exterior. Right. So you gotta look the part when you get into these rooms for this networking. Right. So if anybody has any networking questions for Ashley, Ashley is here to answer all of your networking questions. Ashley can talk to you about getting in a room and speaking to people, especially if there's someone in the room that you need to meet. Ashley can tell you, the things that you should say when you go and meet people. So Ashley, you said something that I want to go back to real quick. You said imposter syndrome, because I've been reading a lot about the imposter syndrome. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So imposter syndrome is feeling like you're an imposter in the business that you own. Either it's because you feel like you're not getting enough traction in their business, or you're feeling that you're just self-conscious about what you're doing, or you don't know enough in your own field. Every entrepreneur does this. It happens, or at least from my understanding, it happens the first 6 months of the business that you're in, or the time that you started your business, and it's good. It's good. You need to go through that. You need to kind of hit that imposter syndrome to keep you sharp, because it's going to motivate, whatever your motivating factor is, it's going to motivate you to get to the next step. My motivating factor is anger. So I started the business when I got pissed off enough to make a change. A lot of women will wait and try everything before they make a change. So figure out what your motivating factor is, because by the time you get to that point, you know that you're going to make a new decision. So, but the imposter syndrome is very real. It can last a couple days, couple weeks. I mean, it shouldn't last more than a year, because otherwise you'd just be sitting in your bedroom crying with a bunch of chocolate and snuggling with the cat. But it happens. And it's a mental health thing as well. So the only advice I could give in that way is, however you deal with that, you stop, you do some self-care, whatever it may be. And if that means laying in bed for the whole weekend and just feeling like crap, then good, get it out of your system, perfect. And then get to the next day. And but get up. Yeah. And have faith in yourself that you will get up. Because
you have to have faith in yourself to get you. Absolutely. Yeah. And I want to add to that. First of all, my friend Damien, who's like my brother, he echoed everything you said. He's like, she will. I wears Damien out. Okay. Then we also have a question here. But one of the things that I want to say too, especially when it comes to the imposter syndrome, and that is this, don't always second guess your gift. When you are passionate about something and it's on the inside of you, sometimes you have to work and build at the same time. You work and execute the vision while you're still trying to build it. And when I say build it, you're still doing your research. You're still networking with people. You're still putting your brand out there. Sometimes you have to work and build and be in the mindset of that. You have to roll up your sleeves and execute. If you want to move from where you are to the next place, networking is key. Research is key, and having a strategic plan is key. And that's one thing I'm going to add to that too, Ashley. Then I'll come back to you. With the imposter syndrome, one thing I say about my core group of friends, my core group of friends, I have friends who will tell me I'm great. I have friends who will tell me you need to pull up, and I have friends that will tell me you need to shut up. And I say that from the perspective of you have to have that core group of friends, so that when you are in that place with that imposter syndrome, they can speak to you and speak to that spirit and speak to what's happening and to help pull you out of that place. Right. That's the thing about networking, because when you are networking, you are putting your lifeline, you are plugging into other people that have strength. So they have strength in areas you don't, and that's what helps you. Go ahead, Ashley.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think on that, with the imposter syndrome, on that strategy, like that strategy is going to change hourly, it's going to change daily, it's going to change weekly, and that's okay. And that you have to remember that like your journey is uniquely your own. And if you sit there scrolling through Instagram thinking like, oh, this girl's making 6 figures and I can show you how, it's like, she's probably in debt with anorexia. Like there's so many, like, there's probably a lot going on with her that you don't know. And people will give you the highlights of their life on social media. They'll give you the highlights of the things that are good and the things that are not good, and things that are, that are not up to par. But very much to your point, you have to surround yourself with people that are better than you, and it's your job to find those people that will tell you when to shut up, and that you can call right now and say, I have an idea. I need you to let me know if it's stupid or not. I've got 3 of those people that I can call right now and be like, think about doing this dumb thing. What do you think? And they give me ideas. And then you really want to have somebody who is going to back you up. I've got 2 people in my life right now that I call them sharks. And the sharks are somebody that I will give them a call when I really I come to them with the research and the idea that just needs to be tightened up. Like, this is what I'm thinking. Can we tighten this up? Does this make sense? But I come to them with the research. I don't just like call them up and say, hey, what do you think about this? I come to them prepared because their advice is so valuable to me. I want to make sure that I've thought it through so that way anything that they say, I don't have to rethink it or, completely change it up again. So you'll find those people. I found them accidentally. You'll find those people, hang on to them because they're going to be your final play in whatever decision that you make that's beneficial to your business.
Damien say, hi, Ashley.
Hey, Damien, you can follow me. Are you cute? Damien, can you follow me on
Damien's married, Ashley.
Oh, Damien. Of course he's married.
Yes. So Ashley, so I'm going to go back to something else you said. Then I'm going to read this question from Kim Moore. And that is this. So, having those 2 sharks, I think is key. And I also think it's important to have a mentor and a sponsor. And because a mentor and a sponsor are 2 different things. The mentor will mentor you and help you, but the sponsor is the one who will advocate for you when you are not in the room. The sponsor is the person who will put their name on the line for you. So having those people in your life, they will not only help frame your business, but they will also help frame your mindset. And when you frame your mindset, it helps you to be able to deal with your business and still elevate your personal life. So having key people in your life, I think that's important. And also having those key people in your life, that will help you with your networking.
Correct. That will help you make those introductions. That will give you the guidance. You're going to put your foot in your mouth a lot. And it's your job to find those people that you can, you are hitting it right on the head. There are people that will advocate for you in the room. Those are your sponsors. And there are people that will guide you in your business. And those are your mentors. And, you will find mentors without you telling them that they're your mentor.
That's good.
So
find mentors without you telling them they're your mentor. That's
right.
Good.
So you kind of, you have this good rapport with them, but I find that the best mentors don't even know that they're being mentored, that they're mentoring somebody else. You just see them and you watch and you observe. And of course, they're going to give you advice if you ask for it, but you don't ever have to explicitly say that you're a mentor. I think the best mentors don't even know they're mentors.
Wow, that's good. So one question that we have here is, what would you recommend a timeline in prepare to operate your own business and leaving your corporate career? So I'll answer and then you answer as well. So Kim, I think it's 2 things. The first thing, I think that whenever you are planning to make the transition from your corporate world definitely into a full-time entrepreneurship, number 1 is you want to have a strategic plan for how you can make not just income, but you also want to have multiple streams of income.
Right.
Especially given our current climate, you want to make sure that you are not leaving a corporate job and you downsize your lifestyle.
Right.
You can still maintain what you have. And so when it comes to the part about really developing a timeline, I will say this, when it comes to that, I think you'll know, you will know when is that time.
Right.
You will definitely know within yourself when is that time. But until it is that time, I definitely think that you should become what we call a corporatepreneur. And a corporatepreneur is when you work your corporate job and you're an entrepreneur and you take those 2 things and you work them the best you possibly can do. You do all of your research. You find people who are already operating in the area that you want to operate in. You network with those people. You use some of the tactics that Ashley said tonight. You network with those people. And then you get in front of those people and you interview them. Ask them questions. Ask them, can you buy coffee? Ask them, can you do a case study on them? Ask them, can you attend networking events with them? Because you want to see how it is to really operate in that area full time. And once you've done that, and then look at your life and your vision and see what it takes for you to actually get there. Ashley, what's your thoughts?
I think everything that you're saying is absolutely 100% accurate. On the flip side of that, follow what Bridgett said. Don't do what I did, because it was stupid and reckless. Because I had exhausted every opportunity and every job until I was so miserable that this was the only thing I thought I could do. It was supposed to be a short-term something. Once I found my stride, it was a perfect storm of timing. I just got married with a little bit of financial security there, and then it allowed me to really dig my heels into it. I did not have a business plan. I had an idea that ended up turning into a business plan. Because of my resources and my network, I was able to wing it. It doesn't always happen that way. I'm still winging it. Just be very clear. But just recognize that, like what Bridgett is saying, like have a plan, like have an A, B, and C plan. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice? This life is not for everyone. You get a lot of great months and a lot of crap months. And you gotta have a plan, or at least a backup if like it all goes to hell, and you know you're gonna have a place to live. So at the foundation of it, make sure that you know what you're willing to sacrifice. If you're gonna do something, you're gonna do something all day long. So like, I know if anybody follows Gary Vee, it's like 7 to 9 mentality, where like you work from 8 to 5, and then from 7 to 11, you're working on your passion. And that you can do that while you're in corporate. Because I was in such a crappy situation, I went the complete opposite way. It worked out for me because I had support, because I had financial support in the beginning. And now I am working on building up this empire. But know that if you're going to do it, you cannot half-ass it. You cannot, because you will fall quickly. And if you fall quickly, you're going to have the skin and the bones and the thick skin to be able to not take it personally. Because this life is demanding, it's sexist, it is racist, it is all of these things that comes with the territory of doing your own thing and having your own voice. So if you've got the stone to do it, then go for it.
Something else you said too, if anybody else has any questions, by all means, we have a few more minutes.
My mother just texted a question.
What did she say?
Because Mama Owens is watching right now. She goes, my question, first of all, she goes, I asked him, like, how much do you like it? Do you guys have any questions? She goes, I can't, I'm crying. Bridgett is amazing.
Hey, Mama Owens.
Hey, Mama Owens. Mama Owens wants to know is, where did you find the strength to take the leap? You want to answer first, because you in your own business as well.
So I think for me, I found the strength to take the leap because work became my form of therapy. When I was going through personal turmoil, work was my way of really dealing with what I was going through. So because I am a person who feels like that I always have to have control, when my personal life was falling apart, I had no control.
Right.
And when I had no control, the only thing I could control was work. And so I found myself in that workspace. It became my safe space. And with that being my safe space, then I finally, got my stride, like you said. And I was like, you know what? I can really do this, because not only am I helping other people, but I'm helping myself. And now that I have found a strategy to help myself, I need to be able to share this with other people to show them that not only can you look good, but you can create a 6-figure brand to help you have the life that you crave. And not only that, I pride myself in being a person who, whenever you tell me no, that's cool for me to do it. And the other thing is, somewhere in my mindset, I just know without a shadow of a doubt, without sounding arrogant, I am above average. I'm so above average. I was having a call with one of my team members today, and I said to her, she said, I said, we need to do this, that, and the other. And she said, okay, sounds good. I said, but I'm of the mindset now. I just want to be the talent. I don't want to do anything else but be the talent.
Dude, that's awesome. Oh, she froze. Oh no. La la la. Hey, you froze on my end. Anybody else see that? La 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 la. It's a great look. I can't see anybody, but hoping we can get her back. If not, I will find my cat and show everybody. Oh, it's just me. Oh, good. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm on the show. Everyone can see and hear me. So if you would like to reach out, actually, let's go back. So I'll answer the question about when did you find the strength to take the leap. My motivating factor has always been somebody who tells me that I can't do it. So that ended up being a driver for me to get to the next step. I was very tired of having somebody else to pick my future with all the positions that I've had, and it was always left up to somebody else to say, oh, you're going to succeed today, or you're going to get the promotion, or we're going to upgrade, whatever, salary that you have. And I felt like I was spinning my wheels so much that it became an issue. So I felt like I was waiting for somebody else to show me my value, and it never ended up working in my favor. So what the strength came from exhaustion, being miserable in those positions, being upset in some of those positions, and just feeling like I have no other choice but to do something for myself. And so the strength came from I have to do something or I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. I've tried everything else. Let me see if this is the next step. And it was, and I will never go back to corporate life. I will never do it again. As much as successful as I was in that, I will never go back.
Thank God you were here. Listen, I'm glad we've co-hosted together before. Because I don't know why my internet, this is the first time this has ever happened to me. But I'm glad that you were able to keep going. That's why I say keep talking, because we have worked together. I've been on your show and I trust you. And you know what? That was a teachable moment for me. So that if I ever can't make it on a Thursday night, you're going to be my backup co-host.
All day long. Oh my God, do I have a little picture? My little blah, blah, blah.
So that was a teachable moment for me. So you know what? Maybe that had to happen. I'm just sitting here just talking away, and my internet, I don't know. I guess it just went out. I don't know.
I love it. Any other questions? I think I answered the one from my mother.
Okay. But I think, that, everything we've said tonight has been really good. So if anybody has any more questions or anything that you want to ask me and Ashley, yes. Ask me and Ashley. We have a few more minutes before we go.
Okay.
But yes, by all means, hey, Pastor Sheila, thank you for joining us. I'm so glad, Ashley, that we got a chance to. Thank you, Cammie. Listen. You got to know how to do it, okay? It's crazy. And I just say, I just want to show up and be the talent, okay? I don't want to deal with logistics.
Right.
But this was my teachable moment. Yes, I'm going to be the talent, okay?
Listen, at this point, we're just show ponies. Like, why? Like, everybody, there's better people out there that can run this stuff on the back end. We'll figure it out. You throw us into the room and we know nobody, or throw us into an interview, we'll figure out who they are in 5 seconds. And it'll be great. It'll be great. Absolutely. So does anybody else have any questions about networking, starting a business, my personal life,
brand?
We could just hang out with the cat all day. Here are the gifts that I like to receive. If anybody wants to send me something nice, I enjoy candles and wine and usually comfy pants. So if anybody wants to send me some sweatpants, I'd be happy for it. I'd be down.
So Ashley, if there's any parting words that you would give to our audience tonight, what would your parting words be in the form of someone who is now going to start networking? What would you tell them to do?
Nobody cares what you do about what you do. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares. So stop trying to sell yourself. Nobody cares. People need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. And so take them along that journey in order for you to be able to gain their trust, because then they will buy from you, or they will trust you enough to come to you when they need a resource or a tool or an introduction, and that's how to be a good networker. But do not go into a new conversation, a new meeting, a new group to thinking that you have to tell them what you do all the time. Nobody cares. If you can tell them a story about how you fixed a problem, that's a better introduction than just telling them that you're a financial advisor.
And so Cammie said, what are the best virtual networking groups right now?
There are so many out there. Honestly, the best ones that I've been on have been people that I know that are very heavy influencers in the area. I know Polka Dot Powerhouse is a really good one. Is a good one. CCSNJ, Chamber of Commerce of South Jersey. Lisa Hurd, I just spoke to her yesterday. Their group is fantastic. They've got a lot of good people on there. They're doing a great job. Jersey Men, Philly Men is also a really good one. I advocate for them all the time. There are tinier groups that have a group of like between 20 and 30 people on, but they're individualized now. Chambers are really good. What you want to do is you want to follow groups and organizations that you enjoy their mission, and maybe get in and go in as a guest to a lot of these groups, because you can shop around for the things that you like. But for women, look for meetup.com, Eventbrite, Polka Dot Powerhouse, all of these places that have specialized in a specific topic or group. That way you're going in there with a like-minded and a commonality.
Sounds good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with me and Ashley. So listen, Ashley, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, places. Saturday night.
Where can they find you on the internet and social media?
Internet? Oh, okay. Not in my apartment hanging out.
No, not your apartment.
I live here now. I live in the corner of. You guys can find me at Ashley. This went from PG to PG-13. AshleyAssist.com. At AshleyAssist on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the internet. What other? Oh, LinkedIn. My full name is Ashley Owens, but Ashley Assist is my company name. All of my information's on there. Anybody who is watching right now, you all get a 15-minute introduction call. Let me see if I can make some intros for you. That's completely free to do. It's my job. It's the foundation of what I do. But it's quick to go right on my website under contact. You can just schedule something on my calendar. It's great. I'd be happy to chat. And I may even have you come on the RBN TV show and chat with me about your tactical tips and practical takeaways in networking if you want to try and show me up with tips. So hang out and let's talk about it.
Yes, and I will say take advantage of their 15-minute call that you can have with Ashley. Take advantage of that call because, you know, after meeting with Ashley and before I even came on her show, Ashley introduced me to tons of people. I mean, tons of people. And I've built a whole new network, you know. I already had a nice size network, but now my network has grown even more. So please take advantage of, you know, having a time with Ashley. If you need help with creating your own personal signature image to grow and elevate your brand, schedule a consultation with me. I'm happy to chat with you, help you to figure out what your secret sauce is so that you can show up just like Ashley, commanding the room, getting all this social media traction. And now Ashley is about to close some major deals.
Ooh, and right, Ashley? Major deals, crushing it, trying to do it.
Yes. So at the end of every episode of Coffee with Bridget, we cheer. So Ashley, you got your coffee?
Yes.
All righty. I can't with you. I can't. This is what
I forgot
This is what goes on with me. This is what goes on. That's why we're such a good mix, because I keep you sane and I keep you grounded.
Yep, and you pray for me when I do stupid stuff. So.
Yeah, I do pray for you, so you're good though. But you're good. Ashley, I'm so happy that publicly I want to tell you that I'm so glad that we met. I'm so glad that we met outside of, just the social media and me coming on your show. I'm glad that, we're working together, we're creating things together, and we're starting to develop such a great friendship. So I'm so glad that we met, and I look forward to the rest of 2020 as we continue to grow and continue to, we continue to break these glass ceilings, and we become trailblazers and show other women that they can have it all. So.
And you changed my life, Bridgett. So,
oh.
I mean, we're just going to leave it at that, because the Irish Catholic mushiness is starting to sweat.
No,
So,
I don't want you to.
I love you so very much.
I love you too. So tell people where they can catch your show at real quick.
RBNTV.tv, and then all of my social media has the Ask Ashley Assist show on This Is It TV, which is another friend of ours, Sheldon Bartlett Rumor, her channel, not her channel, excuse me, her platform. She specifically works with women on screaming their dream. We got to get the three of us to do something. It's just my brain is at it.
Yes, definitely. Sheldon. Yes, Sheldon. This Is It TV. Look her up. She's amazing. Yes.
She's better she's just amazing. I just can't with her. It's too much. Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Talk to you soon, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Bye, buddy.
All right.